I know not what course others may take, but as for me, give me liberty or give me death. The iconic words of patriot Patrick Henry, delivered on March 23rd, 1775, were intended to inspire delegates to support the arming of the Virginia militia, moving colonists a step forward to their fight for freedom. Welcome to episode 2, Building the Constitution. We won the revolution, but after years of fighting, finally the colonies broke away from Great Britain and gained independence. However, winning that war created a new problem. Now we had freedom, but we had no real system to hold the new nation together. So the early leaders created the Articles of Confederation, and this was our first attempt at a national government. On paper, sounded safe, right? They intentionally made the federal government weak, really weak. So no, because they had just fought a war against a powerful central authority. But in practice, it didn't exactly work. So the government didn't have any real powers. It couldn't raise money. It couldn't really defend its own borders or protect its interests. It was stuck. Most importantly, each state essentially acted like an independent, separate country. There was no unity, and eventually that weakness led to a breaking point. In 1786, a group of farmers in Massachusetts, led by Daniel Shays, rose up in protest. This became known as Shays' Rebellion, and these weren't criminals. They weren't woke protesters. They were everyday people, many of them veterans of the Revolution who were struggling with debt, taxes, and economic hardship. They started shutting down the courts to stop foreclosures, and the government, well, couldn't really stop them. That's what scared the founders. Not just the rebellion, but what it represented and what it showed, that the country could fall into chaos from the inside. So the fear shifted, right? Before they were afraid of a government that was too strong. Now they were afraid of a government that was too weak. And that led to the Constitutional Convention in 1787. And the leaders came together in Pennsylvania to fix the system. Delegates from 12 states gathered to revise the Articles of Confederation, but they didn't all agree on the same goal. Some wanted a stronger national government. Others were still worried about tyranny. Larger states and smaller states argued over representation. There was real tension and an actual concern that agreement wouldn't be reached. But out of that tension came compromise. And instead of fixing the articles, they replaced them with something new, the Constitution. At the heart, it was a very simple idea: divide power so no one group could control everything. That's where the three branches of government came in. The legislative branch, well, they make the laws. The executive branch was tasked to enforce them, and the judicial branch interprets the laws. Three separate, equal branches. But it didn't stop there. You see, each branch was given the power to limit each other, checks and balances, so no branch could become too powerful. And, here's something that most people don't realize. The system was designed to be slow, intentionally not efficient, because the founders believed that fast decisions could lead to mistakes or worse, an abuse of power. So they built a system where ideas must be debated and challenged and then agreed upon from multiple sides before anything major happens, like declaring war. It can feel frustrating at times, but that friction, that's part of the protection. You see, it forces accountability. It prevents one person or one group from taking too much control too quickly or too completely. The Constitution also created the structure, and it created balance. So it created a system designed to protect our freedom over the long term. But even after all that, there was still a major concern. What about our individual rights? After all, we had just fought a war against government overreach. Remember, give me liberty or give me death. Personal freedom was incredibly important to our founders. Freedom of speech, religion, the right to defend yourself, protection from government intrusions, none of that was clearly spelled out yet. And that made the new Americans a little bit nervous. So while the Constitution built the framework for the government, it didn't really protect the people's individual rights. And that's where the next step comes in, the Bill of Rights. And without it, the Constitution and our young nation might not have survived. Remember, freedom is something that has to be understood, protected, and passed on. If that matters to you, please follow along and be sure to like and share this video. It's time for us to grow new American patriots and to re-energize us old ones. God bless America.